Hey, welcome back to Bob's Two-Car Garage. Now, the last several weeks, we've been working on a bunch of sheds that look just like this. As a matter of fact, we built 5 of them. Stick around, I'm going to show you how to make a shed.
Hi, my name is Bob, and I love my two-car garage.
Now, it's important to get yourself a good foundation. We use treated lumber, 2x6s, for our foundation. The really good sheds that you buy have really super solid foundations. 2x6s front and back that we doubled up, and then 2x6s on 16-inch centers for joists all the way along. The deck itself is 3/4 inch treated plywood. As a matter of fact, everything from the ground to the bottom plate on this wall that we framed is treated lumber. We didn't want anything to rot. Now, when we set these decks up, we spent a lot of time leveling them out. We used various thicknesses of treated lumber to get our deck nice and level. And then we strapped it with some metal straps. We nailed and screwed these straps on. I finally bought myself one of these cool little palm nailers, which work great for putting in these joist hanger nails. I like this one particularly. It has a little larger hole in the end, so it fits some larger nails. You should get one of these if you're doing a lot of joist hanging nails, because it really saves yourself from smashing your fingers a lot. And as you can see here, as we got from one side of the deck to the other, we used less and less wood to even the whole thing out. Now, eventually on our foundation, we added something that looked a little prettier, some siding on the sides and on the front, and we put a little nosing on it as well with some trim boards, just to make it kind of match the look of the shed itself a little bit better. We framed our sheds with 2x4s on 16-inch centers, just like you would your house. Now, I know you could use less, but we wanted these things to be good and solid, so we went ahead and framed it just like we would a house. Because we have 5 of them to build, we built them in our shop. We set ourselves up a jig so that they would all come out the same. We used the decks that we had built as a workbench to frame all of our walls. Now, if your wall has a slant, and yours probably will like ours did, you can use mathematics to figure out the length of each one of these studs, but it's a waste of time. It's way easier just to lay it out directly, mark and cut each one as you go along. Once all the walls were framed, we sheeted them with 3/8 inch plywood and nailed it all down with 2-inch framing nails, galvanized. Now, on the side walls, before we applied the siding, we put on this paper. This is really good stuff. I think it's the latest and greatest in paper covering technology. Pro Armor by Owens Corning. Now, on 2 of the walls, we used this special siding. We also used it on the doors, and it looks like this. It's called Windsor One. Now, it's kind of expensive stuff, but this is the look that they wanted, so that's what we did. When you use this stuff, a couple things about it. You're supposed to prime any cuts that you make, so we did that. And then this is a shiplap, and so of course you have to put it on so that it drains properly. Now the front and the back side of this shed we covered with this cement board, or it's hardy siding actually. It comes in different finishes. This one is called fine sand, and it comes in 4x8 sheets. The downside to this stuff is that it's really heavy. It's not real expensive, but it is pretty heavy. You cut it with a angle grinder, or you can cut it with your circular saw with a special blade that looks like this. Actually, you can cut it with any blade, any carbide tip blade, but this one just tends to kick up a little less dust. Now, probably most of you are not going to want to use our choice of siding. We use these sidings because it's going to be seen a lot by the public, and it just had to have a little finer look. The T111 siding will work just fine for most applications. And once everything was built and the walls were done, we took them out to the sites and started assembling. The walls tilted up in place and we screwed everything together, and of course we plumbed everything up as we went along. It's especially important to get the walls with the doors and windows in them nice and plumb so that your doors will hang correctly. The roof we framed with 2x6s with blocking in between each rafter. Everything at this point was nailed together with 16-penny galvanized nails. Now, to hold up our end rafter, we use these boards that go from a common rafter to the end rafter, which I call an outrigger. I think that's the proper term. And all the way around to hold down the rafters, eventually we use these hurricane anchors. We don't have hurricanes in California, but we do have Santa Ana winds that can get pretty fierce. Now, on the back side of our shed, we just did a square cut on the rafter. But on the front side, we did a plumb cut. Okay, you're gonna have to snap it. Yeah. Beautiful. Look at that. It hit.
I get a pencil?
To get that plumb cut, first we snapped the line, and then we drew a plumb line and cut them all off. And then we put on a 1-inch thick fascia board all the way around. And we did a soffit. If you notice, our soffit is the same material as the siding, but we put a nickel gap in it just because it looks cool.
Yeah, that looks good, guys.
A freeze board trimmed out the top edge, and on the sides here, or on the corners, we also did some trim boards.
You should make it bounce a little bit.
There. To finish off the roof, we sheeted it, nailed down some 5/8 OSB. And then covered it with this paper that I like so much by Owens Corning. Now we went with a metal roofing, but we didn't want to use the corrugation that is just wiggly. We got this stuff, which actually comes in different colors. Kind of hard to find. We screwed it down with these special screws that look like that. Now, when you tighten these screws down, you don't want to over tighten them or it'll mess up the seal. As a matter of fact, I've heard that you're supposed to replace these every once in a while, which probably nobody does, but they say you're supposed to do that. And there are some more expensive choices for metal roofing that are, they don't use screws, but it's way more expensive. These fit our budget. Now you're probably going to have some excess metal either front or back or on the side, and the best way to cut that off is with an angle grinder. I'm not really good at it, so I had my friend do it. We wanted our doors and our windows to have a similar look to the sides. We wanted to use the same material on our doors as we did on our sides. So this is how we did it. So what we did is we simply cut OSB to fit our opening. And we have 5/8 OSB on the back, and then on the front, we glued with construction adhesive the Windsor One siding to the OSB. Used some staples to hold it in place until the construction adhesive dried. And we did that all the way around with our half doors over here and our windows over here. Now our openings, our doors and windows are probably different from what you would usually do for a storage shed, because these aren't really storage sheds. We had a specific purpose for these sheds that we built. On the right side, we built some double half doors. And the purpose of this is at our church, and on this side we're going to collect food for people who need food. We made some windows with kind of shutters, self-closing little shutters. This is where people drop off bottles and cans that we collect, and we use the money that we get for collecting cans and bottles to buy Bibles. And the side door over here is just for access, for getting those cans and bottles in and out of the building. We had to lock it up because, believe it or not, people steal cans and bottles, even from the church. Go figure. The step right here, or the porch, is not finished. We're gonna give that a different treatment. We're gonna put some of that non-slip paint or surface on there to keep it safe. Now, everything that we used for our exterior came primed, so all we had to do was paint. And I like the choices: dark brown, light brown, exterior paint. This one is satin, and this is flat. So that's how we built 5 sheds. I want to leave you today with this proverb that says, all hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. So what does that mean to me and you? Let's get to work. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.